Hey, Dokie. Oh yeah, the cats are being really funny this morning. The little white one and the pea pod. If I left this door open, probably there'd be a lot of charging back and forth, which would almost make it worth it because they're so funny. All right, let's start standing. So we're gonna do a lot of stuff to stretch, release lower back, but of course, lower back is everything's always part of our whole body. So it will be very much whole body oriented. Inhale, stretch. Reach it out and up, long body, feel your feet on the floor. Once you get up there, you're just gonna easily turn, not easily, as easily, doesn't have to be far is what I'm saying, just a little twist from side to side. Easy, easy, kind of like you're wringing your body, but not in a horrible way, in a very gentle way, spiraling. And let's take it so that, let's take the hands on top and just internally and externally rotate them. So hands are rotating in and out. And then spiral them so they go in the direction that you're spiraling in your body. So we're thinking really the fascia from your hands through the whole body, getting a little bit of movement. And then let your head go with that as well. So head is turning, looking one way and then the other with the arms up. And this could be very slow or lower tempo, which tends to be faster. And then let the arms come down and just easy circles with the shoulders. Letting that massage out the rib cage and lungs. Breathing into it. And change direction up and over. I'm gonna open this door. So funny. Let's see if they've charged upstairs. Good. And then let's open the arms out, open the feet wide and just shoulder rotating in on one side and then the other. And again, we're thinking of like this whole train of fascia from your sacrum up through your shoulder, getting a little bit of a twist. So thinking as we're turning, it's that spiraling up. Little internal ringing in a non like I feel like wringing your hands is like, oh, so uncomfortable, but wringing so that the hydration can really move itself in your body. And then bending your knees, just shift one hip up and then the other hip up. So thinking of your tail ringing like a bell, one way and then the other, side to side. As you're in that side, really lengthening out in this part of your body. So in your quadratus lumborum, in the side between your rib cage and your pelvis. So a lot of times when our backs are getting tight, something in our guts or in our organs or in deep inside in our musculature or in our fascia is also kind of tight. So we're just opening that up side to side, letting your head, full head tail connection, move side to side. Breathing, easy breath. And then let's do it forward and backwards. So not a huge cat-cow, but a little pelvic tilt and then reach with your butt. In our culture, especially for women, we tend to, well, it's changing, but tend to be that, oh, tuck your tail. But tucking your tail is like submission in the animal kingdom, right? So we want to find a place where there's a balance in more of a neutral pelvis, where we're neither tucking nor arching, but we're in a place where it's kind of even in the front and the back. But we also want to be able to really stick our butt out. So reach with your tail and then come under. A little more active reach. Tail reaching out, like you're lengthening from the inside to the outside of your body. And then curl. Reach and open. Come up and curl. Reach and open. So as I'm in that, like it's going into my waist, into my chest, into my lungs as well. So I'm just going to stay down here and actively reach and then sort of release, actively reach and release. So I'm not going for a big contraction so much as just reaching from the inside and then small release. Reach with your tail, reach with your sit bones. and release. 2 more. Lengthen it out and release and lengthen it out and release. And also we tend to hold a lot of tension in our butts. It's just is what we do. Many people do it. I don't know why, but and the same thing with our guts. Our butts and our guts tend to be holding a lot of like, oh, I gotta hold on to this stuff. Animals aren't holding their butt muscles or and usually not their bellies either. All right, so we're just gonna hit out along your sacrum. So here's my sacroiliac, where the big bones of my pelvis are joining onto my spine. Just gonna give that a little whack. That joint can get, well, it's not the joint, it's just around the joint can tend to get a little blocked. So giving a little whack and inviting the muscles in your glutes to soften. So as you're giving it a hit, it doesn't have to be super hard, but you're letting that, like, you know, when you drop a water or a stone into the river, the whole thing ripples out. Let that ripple happen through your flesh. Oh, I know what I'm not doing. I have not put on my earbuds. I got them out. There they are. Let me just connect the sound to my earbuds because it will be better, I think, for you guys. Let's see if it connects. Boom. It should be connected now. So let's come and with a really easy spiral, twisting. In this twist, let your arms and shoulders be as relaxed as possible. So easy spiral. I am doing like the golf style spiral where I'm going, shifting my weight onto the foot I'm moving towards. Letting the arms swing out, just increasing that blood flow to the tips of my fingers as I swing my arms. And then we're going to change it, just staying in the middle without shifting your weight, looking around behind you, trying to get a full spiral. Imagine that as you're spiraling each direction, looking all the way behind you, that you are evening out your spine so that the movement of the twist is helping elongate and rebalance your spinal cord, your discs and vertebra, right? So that nothing's getting overly compressed anywhere, but everything's kind of renegotiating that space in a way that makes the most possible sense. All right, and then let's take it down to the floor. So coming down onto the floor in a cross-legged position. Just gonna shut this door. The cats have seemed to have vanished into the upper reaches of the house. Which is probably not a bad thing. There was a great thundering as they went up there and now they're gone. All right, so let's roll across one butt cheek and then the other really slow. My really slow tends to be pretty fast. So you may go slower. Oh, you may go faster. Oh, I hear them again. Just massaging out your butt. Squeaky. Come on. Come on. And then we're going to take it down all the way to the floor. So I said come and sit down in a cross-legged position. Cat distraction. Let's come back to the cross-legged position. Sorry about that. Coming back into a cross-legged position. This exercise really helps me with my back. And that's because, I don't know, I feel like anything where I am taking my whole torso to the side and then forward is really helpful. So maybe we'll do it that way without the arms yet. So you're basically just going to shift over to the side. You're lengthening this out and then keep lengthening, taking it forward all the way to the front and roll it up. Let's stay on that side again, to the side and then forward and come up and again, side and forward and then come up and switching it to the other side, taking it to the side, forward and up. There he is. Side, forward and up. And again, side and forward and up. Let's change legs. So non-dominant leg comes in front and then we'll add the arms. So when we add the arms, we're really getting the whole the whole fascial train from our fingertips down through our body. So it gives us a little bit more. Just side to start. Lengthen up. Breathing into it. Going as slow or as fast as you want to go. And then taking it forward, changing arms as you come around the front and lifting up and changing direction. Sideways and then forward and around and open, using your breath. And imagining that the tight areas that you have, if you have tight areas, and I definitely have areas that I can feel right now, just imagining those getting a little more spacious, opening up. If we connect our mind into the work, it works at a much deeper level. So really bring that in. Let's take it forward, just hang out there and shift slightly from side to side. So thinking of letting your head weight drop down, curling your spine, a little bit of side movement. And then release and come up, and we'll come onto our backs. And start with just easy, loose knee drops from side to side. So letting your legs fall one way and then the other. So we're getting this very easy, gentle spinal twist from side to side, letting it massage out your glutes. And letting so like our femur head is coming in and up here. As we're rolling, thinking of the weight of the femur head and the floor making a sandwich of the tissue in your butt, right? So, I mean, it's not going to smash all of your tissue, but giving this little tissue squish sandwich of the muscles in your butt, on the big muscles on the outside. And then you can take it a little deeper if that feels good. If the spiraling is helpful, go a little deeper, just reaching across from one side to the other. For me, that really helps open up the space between my shoulder blades. So when I go deeper here, I really feel it into my arms. Because it's pulling on my rhomboids on the bottom side. And then come in and let's do just a little arch and curl here, small tuck of the tail, and then lengthening out with an arch. So not the hugest movement, just a little bit. Arching and curling, thinking of the inside of your body, like deep inside, spinal cord, spine, discs, just having some freedom. So imagining that very organic, alive interior, so that there's fluid movement in your spine. It's not contracting in. So I feel like it's much easier for spinal stenosis to happen, which is the narrowing of the spinal cord of the bones start to calcify more and more, and there's less and less space in there. I feel like if we keep moving on a more subtle but deep level, we're going to keep that hydration moving through there. So it's less likely, it's harder to calcify when things are in motion. When they're still and kind of locked up, then it's much easier. All right, so from that position with that arch and curl, let's just take the pelvis a little bit off the floor, and it's not the whole lift. So I'm not popping all the way up. I'm coming in here. So my torso is still fairly long. And I'm just going to shift my weight from one side to the other. Like one of those old fashioned porch swings that were kind of on sliders. Think of that. Not the ones that are hanging from the ceiling, but the ones that are like on these little sliders, and the whole sort of couch move forward and backward. I'm sure that is I don't think they make those anymore, but imagine that is how your pelvis is moving, sliding from side to side. And then come in, release it down. And we're going to take it up higher, going all the way up
and all the way down. Here's the pea pod, rolling up through your spine and lifting, and then rolling it down. Maybe adding an arch on the bottom, curling, rolling it up, and then curling and rolling it down. Breathing into it. When you feel like you want to, if you feel like you've gotten warm enough and you're ready to go up and stay up, get up a little higher and just pull and push. So I'm pulling and pushing with my feet on the diagonal. I'm allowing that to massage out my shoulders. So I'm relaxing my shoulders and neck as I'm here. And I'm also giving more of a pull. So on the pull, it's firing at my hamstrings more. On the push, it's firing at my quads more. It's not a whole lot. We're not trying to get a burn or anything in there, but just a little bit of activation and feeling the difference between the front body and the back body active, being more active. So on the pull, hamstrings, on the push, quads. Maybe you feel that, maybe you don't, no big deal. And then slowly roll it down through your spine. Take an arch, stick out your chest, stick out your belly, and reach your butt into the floor. And then come into neutral. And let's take a heel rock. So digging your heels into the floor. Soften your spine, sending a ripple of movement up and down through your body like a wave. So one thing that can make pain a lot worse is fear. When we feel scared, it's like it's easy for the pain to get much worse. But if we think of our whole body as a very living system with lots of fluidity, lots of capacity for healing, and we also start to like comb off some of the layers of tension through movement, through awareness practices, then sometimes it's easier for the body to heal, right? So finding that fluidity, relaxing your head, neck, and shoulders, just digging the heels in. If there's not much movement happening in your torso, like there's no wave at all, then fake it. Make a wave happen, right? I can make it more, or I can just let it be what it is. So if I want more motion and more connection, I can do that. But if it feels like too much, don't do it. And then let that go and come in. And then let's take a happy baby pose. So legs up, bend your knees, open it up, do whatever you want to do in there. Let the happy baby be your happy baby and your baby-like happy baby that's very alive. Healthy tissue in your body, right? So we do breath practices and or just even deep breathing, like cardiovascular work is going to help clear out blockages in our bodies. But we also want to clear out blockages in our mind and in the tissue. Let's circle the legs, releasing your lower back, letting your whole pelvis kind of shift a little bit as you're doing these circles. Right. And that fear thing with pain, like I totally understand it. I can always get that. But I can also sometimes be like, oh, I kind of strained something, or I might have pulled something a little bit. Now, can I do a bunch of fluid movement to let that tissue re-knit and reintegrate in a healthy way? Which isn't like if I've overstrained something and I've pulled it, then I don't want to do a lot of stretching. Fluid movement, yes. Stretching, no. If something's just tightened up a little bit, stretching might be good. But if I try and force a stretch on a body part that's not ready for it, it's going to do the exact opposite of opening up. If you're forcing a stretch on something that doesn't want stretching, it's going to contract more. So we want to use the fluidity of breath, the fluidity of our mind, the fluidity of our movement to help soften and release things so that they can let go. All right, let's just do this more free flow exercise. So it's going to be a sound, a theta breath, a soft S, hiss, with our leg. So it's going to be like your leg is doing this exploration of the space around you with no rules, however your leg wants to do it. And we'll add the theta breath. So that will be a natural down regulator coming into rest and digest, soothe and settle. So let this be exploratory, not forcing in. A little bit longer. And your version can be super different than mine. Listen into your body. In fact, probably better if you don't even watch what I'm doing. Whenever you feel like you've had enough with one leg, go ahead and switch it. You could stay on that leg for a while, because if you weren't doing it when I was talking about it, you might be a little behind, or whatever that means. So take your time. When you're ready, switch to the other leg. Then you could also just keep switching back and forth. Listen to the tempo of your own body. Even yourself out if you need to. So one thing I'll say about that kind of exploratory movement is when I'm doing it, I am paying attention to what's going on in my leg, but a lot of me is really paying attention to what's going on in my body. So I'm feeling like how my weight is shifting. I'm feeling my back. I'm feeling my pelvis. I'm feeling what's happening in my torso. And I'm not trying to grip, right? I'm trying to let go of the gripping. So I'm allowing the movement to happen very free flow, and also allowing my body to explore in a way that feels good in my own body. So let's do one last one with that, with both legs going. They don't have to do the same thing. They could do the same thing. Really listen in. And if you feel like, I don't know what to do, I'm just going to do this exercise, try to let go of that, become curious, and explore with your legs. You could add the arms into this. Let's add the arms if you want to, or just legs. If it's all too much, make it simpler. If you need to add more, add more. Even yourself out, last breath. And let it go. And let's open the feet wide and just internally rotate one leg at a time. Taking as long as you want, massaging out the hip that you're rolling across and lengthening down the tissue, spiraling down in the front of the leg. Hey, Peapod. Hey. Breathing into it. Taking your time. I feel like this internal rotation is such a great exercise for opening up and differentiating the levels and the layers of tissue that are in your body. So like under your IT band, there's another layer of fascia that's going like that. So IT band is like this, up and down, other layer underneath is like that. And we want them to have the capacity to move in different ways. So they're not, if they don't have sort of three-dimensional access to movement, or fairly three-dimensional access, they can get more gummed up, right? So while the fibers are they probably have an alignment that they're going on, like our IT band is, pretty much doing that up and down. But underneath is this layer of really jelly-like fascia that has a little bit of striation in it. So it has some form, but it also allows like if we didn't have that movement between those things, we couldn't do this. We wouldn't be able to have that kind of internal external rotation, right? So we need these surfaces to really differentiate nicely and have the capacity to shear, to have like fluid engagement with each other. Blah, 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 blah. Let's press our pelvis up and let's go for big circles if they feel good, small circles if you need to go smaller. And again, as you're here, see if you can relax the neck and shoulders, relax the jaw, throat, and tongue. And change direction. So this class, we're doing this lower back class for multiple purposes. This is for you guys in TV land, and that's because the person in my Zoom room is having some tightness in their lower back, and I am also having some tightness and interesting stuff going on in my lower back. And I'm just saying this because if you people in TV land have special requests, let me know. Reach out to me and say, can you do something on this or that or the other thing? Let's curl up and then take it back down. So you can use your knees to curl yourself up. So you're pushing with your knees into your arms and then just releasing back down a couple more times. Exhale as much out as you can. And then inhale down. If you haven't had breakfast, on that exhale, you can really kind of hollow in your guts for a yogic thing to do. And then inhale and fill up. So it's just an option where you exhale and then scoop a little bit more. So we're moving the inner body into the back of the body to create more length and openness in the back of the body. Deep breath, everything out. And scoop, if that feels good. Don't do so much if this is new to you that you then injure yourself, right? And last one. And let's roll from side to side, rolling all the way onto one side, pouring your body over to the other side, pouring across, relaxing into the floor as much as you can, letting that massage out your back. Like you're just melting, softening, spreading yourself like some very easily spreadable stuff. Room temperature butter, honey, spreading like that. You're not like smashing the bread with the hard butter. You're using the soft room temperature butter to spread across. And let your head relax as much as possible. So head, neck, shoulders relaxing as you're rolling from side to side. Yeah, so sometimes if my upper back and neck and shoulders get really tight, I might spend a lot of time just with this type of rolling. Could be really small, but letting my head, neck, and shoulders relax. And when we're laying down, like you don't have to hold your head up, right? It's not gonna fall off. So letting it be really relaxed and relax into the floor, seeing how much you can kind of crumple into yourself, just in a fluid way. Letting the movement be really delicious. If it can, you might have pain, but you might still be able to find some deliciousness. All right, and then let's open all the way and close. So we're stretching out through the arms and the legs, radiating away from center and then folding it in. Reaching, fingers, toes, open, 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 fold it across. And again, open, open, open. Letting the water in our bodies and the gravitational pull of the earth give us a lot of awareness, right? Because as we roll, we can feel the pull downwards. Let's come up and yeah, my spaced out thinking about that gravity and water, just having that fluidity in our body, right? So that's a lot of our interoception, our proprioception. So interoception, our awareness of what we feel within our body, what we feel under our skin. Exteroception, what we feel outside of our body. Proprioception, our awareness of the relationships of movement. Like proprioception allows me to touch my nose. I can do it with my eyes closed. And then kinesthetic awareness is kind of our awareness of the movement, the potential of movement around our bodies, and also within our bodies. So as we're moving, I can feel the movement of my body in relationship to the space. It's a little bit like proprioception, but slightly different. Anyway, and then one of my friends made up one called luminoception, and that's like the awareness of like your soul purpose, instinct, drive. Yeah, I think that's what she called it. Colleen Wall, another movement analyst and genius out there in the world. All right, let's come up onto hands and knees and open the hands wide, open the knees wide, and just slow, 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 chest down into the water and then press it up. So it's almost like you're, if you were Narcissus looking at yourself there in the pool, except for we're not actually looking, we're just taking a dip with the nose into the waters underneath us. And change direction whenever you're ready. Yeah, so also with the anxiety thing, like a lot of people are really anxious these days. One way to deal with that, like we can try and get the anxiety out by doing more and more, or we can pay attention to our slowness, right? When we come into slowness and see, oh, can I move even slower? Can I do this slower? It brings our awareness right in. And it also, like when we have that kind of focus, it's hard to feel nervous or anxious. So a great way to deal with anxiety is by like actively slowing down and then seeing if you can take things slower. And once you get into that, like with this thing, these circles, there's so much for me to feel in here in terms of interoception. I can feel the relationships of my bones, my muscles, the movement in the space, even the fluid in my body. Yeah, it's quite delicious. So let yourself take time, slow it down, see if you can go, if I slow down more, what happens? How am I moving? More space for the awareness when we're going slow, right? There's so much to notice. And then let's come off of our hands and do these internal and external spirals. So I'm thinking of my fingers really blossoming open and then coming in. And again, this is moving through my wrists, through my arms, elbow, humerus, into my rotator cuff. And I can really get it going with my scapula, collarbones as well, opening and closing. Inhale, open, exhale, close. Your version might be different. Just feel into it. You're basically just making a figure 8 with your hands, right? Infinity symbol. And letting that ripple through your whole body. Yeah, nice. Let's take a quick self-hug so I can scratch my shoulder. Yeah, it's interesting. When I go into that slower space, it's almost like I've taken a downer. And I haven't taken a downer or anything else, but it's like, come into this parasympathetic rest and digest, soothe, and settle. And that is the place where things can let go, where things can shift, and where you process whatever's going on in your life. So it's not just sitting on you, unprocessed, weighing you down. It's moving through. All right, but let's keep working in a slowish way. And let's do some a little more back work, but with this hip socket. So I'm gonna take my leg out right behind me. I'm also in that position going to kind of balance myself. So I have this sense of weightedness in my hands and out through my leg. And then small circles, they can be slow in the back. we're not working for maximum tension here. We're working for awareness, to stay aware in the movement, feeling what's happening, reaching out through your toes. And then let's flex and change direction, go the other way, reaching through your heel. And then release that leg down, switch it to the other side. Easy circles, long leg, chest open, but not adding tension. We're not squeezing everything in or trying to, like, I don't know, be perfect. Flex and change direction. Breathing. And then release and come in. And walk your knees back a little bit. We're going to circle the pelvis down towards the floor and then push back. And then change direction, go the other way. As slow or fast as you want to. And then let's take it all the way down to the floor. Once you get down to the floor, you can curl your toes under, put your head on your hands, and just push up and down. So this is like similar to the heel rock, this little toe push. Bend your knees slightly so your knees are on the floor. Relax it. This is actually great. I saw the chiropractor that I follow. I saw him talking about this toe push. I just have to say, like, so much stuff that I've like learned through movement analysis, through somatic practices. And then I see like a doctor talking about why it's so good for you. So I'm super, like, of course it is. We've known all along, but they have more language from a sort of scientific way, doctor way, but he's a chiropractor. So chiropractors are like very embodied doctors, tend to be thinking about what's going on in the body. And then let's come in, bend your knees side to side. And that's, so there's a few people that I'm following now on Instagram that are really good, but the one that I consistently love is Dr. Perry Nicholson. Stop Chasing Pain is his handle. And he's got YouTube as well. Okay, so from here, we're going to circle your ankles. You can circle them away from each other. Change direction. And then let's bring the legs so they're kind of close together, and you're going to circle, make circles with your feet. So circles with your feet. As you're circling your feet, let your pelvis move. So we're not trying to stabilize the lower back. We're mobilizing the legs. We're mobilizing the pelvis and the spine. Not a whole lot of movement with the spine, but a little bit. Letting that massage out your quads, hopefully giving them a little stretch as your heels come towards your butt, and change direction other way. Circling around, massaging the front of the legs, relaxing the guts, relax the belly. Don't squeeze it in towards your spine. Just let it hang, let it drop into the floor. Yeah, so I can feel the tissue around the front of my belly, around the front of my guts, getting some really nice movement. Yeah, in the front of my abdominals and in front of my pelvis. Opposite arm to leg, inhale up, exhale down. Lengthen out and release. Inhale, exhale, reach it out and lower. Lengthen, lift, lengthen, lift. You could go slower. Good. And let that go. Shake it out, wag your tail. And let's just bigger wag your tail. So really reach your butt over to one side, really reach your butt over to the other. Shifting, shifting. And then shake it all out, free up your head and tail. And We're going to come up onto our elbows. Curl your toes under. You're just going to lift yourself up and then lower down. Little arch and come down. Curl your toes under. Lift your torso. Lower it down. Little arch and lower. Toes curl under. Pick it up. Drop it down. Arch. Down. Toes curl under. Pick it up and lower. Lift and lower. Up. Down. Arch. Down. Pick it up and lower. Last one. Up and relax down. Shake out your butt. Release. So this one, depending on how you're feeling, if you're feeling kind of gentle and careful, don't go very far. If you feel like it feels good and you want to do it, you're going to take your arms out to the side. Head is going to be on the floor. You're going to lift one leg, cross it over, reach it out, and then bring it back. Same thing on the other side. Lift the leg, spiral across, open, and bring it back. Lifting, taking it across. You can bend your knee and take it deeper and bring it back. Lift it up, spiral, bend your knee or not, and bring it back. Last time. And then press all the way up and take it back into a child's pose. In your child's pose, take a couple of deep breaths there. Just relax into it. Try to breathe like a bubble so that as you inhale, the whole bubble of your body is getting bigger. And as you exhale, the whole bubble is getting smaller. As bubbles breathe, imagine you are a breathing bubble. And then you're going to interlace your hands out in front of your head, rolling up to the crown of your head, and then rolling it back down. Rolling up, curling your spine, rounding, and rolling it back. And again, rolling it up, and rolling it back. And last one, roll it up, and roll it back, and come up. And we're going to do this exercise. I learned it in a Feldenkrais class. And of course, I'm going to do a totally different version, but it's the general idea. Let me flip around and turn my mat. So you're going to cross one knee behind the other knee and open your feet wide. And in this position, so it's like this, yeah. In this position, you're going to just reach your tail back and then head forward. Tail lengthening back. And head reaching forward. And again, this could be way slower or faster than what I'm doing. Thinking of the head lengthening forward and then the tail pulling back. So it's like you're initiating the movement from one direction, pulling, and then the other direction, pulling. And if you feel like you want to, you can sit down into that, breathing into it. And if that's too much, you can straighten the bottom leg and do it here. Just taking your time, breathing, letting go. Feeling the growing and shrinking of the breath in your body. Imagining breathing deep down into the cellular level. Letting your body release on a neurocellular level. So like the nerves, the cells, relaxing, letting go. Maybe some micro movement in there if that feels good. And when you're ready, coming out of it unscrambling the legs and changing it so the other knee crosses behind. Trying to widen your feet out as much as you can, and then pulling back with your tail and forward with your head. Breathing into it. When you're ready, sitting down into it or not, bottom leg straight or not, breathing, micro movement or not. Definitely you're breathing. Keep the breath going. And when you're ready, come up, unscramble. Let's just do this little walk forward and backwards. So you're walking on your sit bones, forward, letting the contents of your pelvis mobilize, and then backwards. Not that this has to be difficult, just make it as easy as possible by like really shifting your weight, letting yourself move with the swing, forward and backward a few times. Getting all of that mobility in your pelvis, right? Sometimes people walk and they're barely moving their body. Just the legs kind of going really stiff. Take it back. Get that movement into your body. That is supportive. There's contralateral patterning going on here. And there's also homolateral patterning. So this half of my body is going back, but at the same time, this shoulder's coming to my knee. So this is homolateral one side, but this is contralateral. Homolateral. Yeah. Taking it forward one more time. And then go ahead and let it land in a forward fold. In your forward fold, you can rock back and forth, soften and melt. You can play with rounding your spine here and also lengthening it out. Just letting yourself move in whatever way feels right to you with that. Good. And then release and come in. And let's come up onto our legs and stand. Oh my goodness, we've really been going. When you slow down the exercises, a lot more can happen. I mean, a lot less can happen. Time moves faster, right? Like when we slow down, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm saying. Taking it onto your feet, opening your feet wide, just shifting gently from side to side. Shifting your weight one way, shifting your weight the other, letting your head and tail mobilize, letting all the tissue in your body mobilize, letting go of tension, inviting your neck, jaw, and tongue to really relax. And then come into center and roll it all the way up, coming up to the top. Big deep breath, inhale, open, stretch it out and up. Exhale, a little bounce. See if you can let go of any extra internal tension. Inhale, open. Exhale, let it go. And last one, inhale, open it up. Bouncing, free flow in your body. Shake your butt, let it go. See if you're holding tension. If it doesn't shake, there might be tension in there. All right, I'm going to end the live stream. TV Land, like, subscribe, buy me a coffee.